Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today with Stamping with Loretta. I've had several requests to do a video tutorial of how I do the butterfly mini books, and so that's what we're going to do today. As you can see on my desk, I've gone ahead and I've cut all the pieces. Now I am going to tell you this, if you have this particular die and you're cutting these pieces yourself, when it comes to cutting the pages, you have to make sure that the paper is going in the correct direction. And by that, if it's got a pattern at all that goes just one way, when it's laying on the die, make sure it's going the right way for your book. And this is what I mean. Okay, I have not assembled anything really yet. I do have it in order to make this process faster. On the top here, these are the butterfly layers for the front of the book. Put that aside for now. So here are the inside pages, and so on the left side I have the yellow, and on the right side I have the green. Oh, I've got that backwards. Huh, how about that, folks? It should be green and yellow, but I'll fix that later. Okay, so all these pieces are cut. Now to get started, I'm going to get some glue, and we'll be back. Okay, we're back. Even though my video editing skills have greatly improved, we'll probably get interrupted. I can't find the remote to the camera today to just turn it off manually, so I'll have to turn it off the old-fashioned way by reaching around it. So we're going to get started. Now, the best thing to do here is use a nice quick drying glue. This is Scotch Quick Grip, quick dry adhesive, and I really like it for these kind of projects. You don't have to be glue happy with this, you just need to get enough down to where it's going to work. Make sure you get a little close to the edge like that when you're applying your paper. Make sure it's nice and straight. If you've cut something and it's a little small, don't worry about it at this point, because we're going to be sponging the edges of every single page and glimmer misting this. I haven't decided about the glimmer mist, but we might glimmer mist it. So you're going to continue to do this for all the pages that you have. And as we go along, you're going to notice that the inside pages are green on one side and yellow on the other, but the front and the back covers are going to look pretty much like this with the butterfly on them. I'm going to continue and we'll be back. Okay, now this is actually the third page of my book. The front cover doesn't count, so this is 1, 2, and 3. Now remember, the right hand side is yellow. On this one right here, we're going to add a little something extra to it so that when we put our pictures in, we'll have a little bit more interest. What I did was I cut another piece of chipboard butterfly out of the AccuCut Build a Album butterfly die, something like that. I'm tongue-tied. Anyway, so I've cut this out and I'm going to cover it on both sides, okay? And the reason I'm going to do that is because when I attach it to this bottom piece, half of this is going to show, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. So you just get your glue down, just doodle it like you would when you're playing with pen and paper on the phone, and just doodle stuff. I don't know about you, I do it all the time. I actually got that from my adoptive mother. She used to doodle in the phone book. My birth mother is doing very well. I've got her kind of settled down. She's not calling me quite as often, which is good. I just want her to relax and enjoy getting to know me the slow and easy way. She She's a wonderful lady. She's very sweet. Okay, now decide which one you want up, this one or that one. I want this one up because it's got more pattern. And we're only going to glue this part down. Now, before we glue this down, I'm going to take it and I'm going to bend this wing back towards me. You can score it if you want. That little piece that's wrinkled right now is going to be covered up in a second with a body part, so, or whatever you want to call that little middle part of his body. Clean off any excess glue with your fingers, and if you're like me, you just wipe it on your jeans. I know I shouldn't, but I do. So that's down, and I'm going to, like I actually cut a bunch of different parts for this project so that I wouldn't have to do it later. So that looks a little too small. This one is the right size, but it's the same color, so we'll make this work for now. And it's going to go just like that. Okay, I'm going to continue covering the rest of the pages, and we'll be back. The reason I did this is so that a picture can actually fit up underneath here, or if you have something that you want to put that's more personal, like a note or something, like I did with the one that I did for my birth mom, then it can be stored right here, and this will act as a little hiding place. So we'll be back. Thanks. I have all the pages glued, and before we go any further decorating, especially the cover, we need to sponge the edges. I'm using a retired ink from Stampin' Up. At least I think it's retired. If I'm wrong, you can let me know. It's called Green Galore, and it's from Stampin' Up. I like their pigmented inks a lot. This one is a very nice green. It's very subtle. And the reason that I sponge the edges is because when you have a bright paper like this, it helps just to settle up the starkness just a little tiny bit. I think it gives it almost a dreamlike quality when you sponge edges of something. You can get grungy with this and really, you know, knock it down and do browns and distress inks on it. But in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, it's better to use a softer color for this. Just because you want it soft in the end. Even though there's a good chance that you're not going to see this edge once it's bound, sponge it anyway. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Right, ladies? Okay, now we're going to start some assembly. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this blank chipboard piece and attach the paper to it. Now, if you look at this side, you can tell where the some of the cardboards come off. Well, what happened is when I ran it through my die cutting machine, it didn't actually cut these holes very well. So what I decided to do was just use my X-Acto knife and clean them up the best I can. You're not going to see it, so it doesn't matter. But take the time to do that. We're going to just glue this down. Now when we're gluing this, we do want to pay attention to these little delicate areas, these little sharp corners and stuff, because we don't want our paper to pull up. So it's important to get your glue pretty precise in tight areas like that. Run it around the edges. Give it a quick going over. It doesn't have to be neat, it just needs to be on there. Nobody's going to see glue. Let's see, a little part up there. Okay. Now I'm going to scoot this up just a little bit so I can line these two pieces up. Now I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to do the same thing. I hope you guys are having a really great week. Mine has been wonderful. I've really enjoyed spending time with my wonderful husband. And our 3 puppies. They are wild as usual. Line that one up and place it down as well. And gently push it down so that the 2 papers are married together to that piece of chipboard. Okay, there we have it. Now, we're going to sponge this as well. This is a very light, subtle sponging, like I said before, and on the screen, it just kind of helps to finish the outside edge. And we're also going to do those openings on the wings of this butterfly with the same sponge. This is just a cosmetic sponge I bought from my local grocery store. You can buy them at Walmart. They're great for putting on makeup, but they're also absolutely perfect for this. They're like $1 for, I don't know, 60 of them. And I tear them in half and sometimes even quarters to use them for these projects so that they're a little smaller. When it comes to these openings, just dab around them. Just pounce, if you will. Pounce. I feel like Tiger the Tigger or something, Tigger the Tiger. Back from my Winnie the Pooh days. When my kids were little. That and the dinosaur from hell. I hated that dinosaur. Anyway, so let's continue to sponge. And once the sponging is done, we're going to attach it to the front cover. So we'll be back with that in just a second. Okay, what I just did after I sponged it is I used a bone folder and a ruler, and I scored my wings here and here, as you can see, so it sits like this. Now we are going to attach it to the front of our cover, but before we do that, it needs antenna. Now these antennae are actually from another piece of a floral embellishment that I just took apart and salvaged the pieces that I wanted for my project. And so I'm gonna cut these down to be about the same size. And we're gonna attach the body first, and then we're gonna attach the antenna. Now this case, I'm gonna use glossy accents. Any kind of a really good heavier duty glue will do. E6000 works great for this project, and if we weren't filming, I wouldn't have this problem. Okay, well, it's stuck, so we're just going to use this for now. If I need to, I'll come back with that and use it. So this gets put down. Now when you put it down, line up this butterfly wing to the bottom of the album and to the top on one side, so you know it's going to line up. Then roll it just like that into place. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, I got my glossy accent glue unclogged, and I've already put a generous amount of adhesive behind this butterfly, and now I'm going to place the soon-to-be antenna right underneath that and straighten this back out. I'm going to use my cosmetic sponge that I already have on my table to wipe up any excess that oozes out the top and make sure it's still lined up the way I want. Now we're going to use just an ordinary clothespin to hold this together until it dries. We will be coming back at a later time to embellish this. Now if that happens to you, don't worry about it. You've got some open time to work. So just put the antenna back in. Hold it down with your thumb on the opposite hand and clamp it together just like that. Okay? I'm hoping that I can edit this to a point to where I'm going to split the video at this time. If I don't, and it's a little off, I'm sorry. Anybody who wants to come over and give me one-on-one editing skills classes, I'll give you a mini book. Okay, thanks guys, we'll be back. Okay folks, I will tell you this. I just finished getting off the phone with some of my relatives in Georgia and in Alabama. So I have kind of lost track of exactly where I am. And I don't want to rewind this entire tape and try to figure it out. So I'm going to wing it. Get it? Wing it? Okay. Many of you know what this is. This is a Zetter. It's a bind-it-all machine. It's the version 2, and the thing about this one that I like, absolutely love, is this little thing right here. It's kind of cool because if you want your pages to be exact for every single one, you just move this where you want it and leave it there. There are little markings which you probably can't see, but this one is set on 4 right now. And I've got it locked over here. And I've got it totally open, which is on A over here. And we're going to do this for every single page because they're all the same. The cover is in a different size than the inside pages. If it were, then this would have to be a little bit different, but we want to leave this open as well. So it's set on 4, and I'm just going to set my paper in it and kick it up to that bar. And on my side, I've made sure it's staying on the floor. I'm going to hold it and punch it just like that. And every single one that I do from now on is going to be exactly the same. I don't have to worry about them not lining up when I go to put the binding in. Because I know it's going to be exact. I've made so many of these that I didn't have to remeasure every single one, so that's good. And here's the finished middle butterfly page. This is chipboard as well, and it's finished on the back side. And I scored it on both sides like I showed you, at least this side. And so that the wing will pop up and you can hide stuff. We've already talked about that, I know for sure. Everything else I don't remember. I'm very excited today. Mike and I are just thrilled to be part of this family, and they're very warm and welcoming gestures for both of us, and it's just an absolute total blessing. I'm going to finish punching these. I do want to show you how to actually bind this together with the binding wire. There are 6 internal pages of this book, and there are 2 covers. And here's the back cover now that it's finished as well. I just left it very plain. I still haven't put the middle on this one yet. I'm going to do that when the book is finished and I start embellishing. Okay, so now that we have these punched, let me grab them, and I have to turn them towards me, so I may be off camera just a little bit so that I have it right. Now this is a really good place to make sure everything is punched correctly. This one is not. It's not going to show. It just simply was, I didn't have it all the way down in the channel. Okay, as you saw with some of these pieces, they did not punch correctly because I actually didn't have them engaged in here far enough down. So this particular die has this scallop border on it, and I cut some more out of chipboard in this green paper, and I reinforced the ends on some of the pages that didn't punch correctly. So that's no big deal. If it happens to you, you'll know what to do. Or if you get one at home that's, that you punch incorrectly, then you know how to fix it. So I'm using, this is 3/4 inch white binding wire. There are 6 of them here. I just cut it with my, whatever you call these things are, wire snips. These little things. So now I'm going to just start with the pointy end, and we're going to just start threading it through here and catch the interior pages. I'm going to have to turn this towards me. And because we set that bar, the holes are going to be pretty consistent. Now if you get one that's off a little bit, just take your X-Acto knife or your scissors and just make a little slit on each side of every single hole in the row, and you'll have enough wiggle room there to keep your book nice and even. Even when they line up, sometimes it's hard to see the little rascals. Speaking of little rascals, my teenager is going to drive me up the batty wall. I love that kid. I told him yesterday to get some laundry finished up and he didn't. So I feel this way about it. You don't want to do it and just help mom out a little bit, you can do the rest of the laundry. I'm getting a whole lot of amens from other moms now. Okay, alright, so here we are. Adorable, and it's bound. So we'll just take a quick walk through. As I said, 3D wings. So these flip up like this, and then the interior pages. Now you'll notice that I've left these fairly plain and simple so that I can mat and scrapbook some more pictures. I'm really not sure what I'm going to do with this one yet. I may just make it as a gift. So just more and more pages. So okay, now let's get to some decorating. I mean, isn't this what it's all about? I'm not going to bore you with tying the binding up. I'm going to use ribbon like you've seen in the past and tie it around the wires and maybe even make a few charms or stick pins for that. But the cover itself, we could really, honestly folks, we could leave this just like it is and it's beautiful. But this is Loretta, and Loretta likes bling. So you're not going to really see this, but I have to move and go get our bling. When I film like this, I have to move things around. Okay. Pardon me. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is decide exactly how you want your bling and your flowers to go on your paper and what to attach them with and how to attach them. So I'm going to pick some swirlies up. And start placing them down. That little bit of bling already added a lot to that. These are Wild Orchid Craft flowers that I'm using on this project. I like to go ahead at the beginning and snip them close to the base of the flower. I'm going to add stems and things later. Okay. You can use just regular quick grip adhesive for this, but For sticking power, I prefer the Glossy Accents RE6000 glue, whatever you have. I'm taking this Wild Orchid craft flower and I'm just kind of opening it up a little bit, and it's going to get a big glop of glue, I think. I think it's clogged, is what I think. There we go. That's a big glop of glue. And I'm going to place that right here in the corner and see how I like that. That's good. And I'm going to have to turn this around, folks. I really am having a hard time with the perception doing it upside down. So hopefully you can follow me anyway. And we'll continue to decorate this however we like. So I'm going to do some more decorating and embellishing. And I will show you pictures of the project at the end. Thanks for joining me today with Stamping with Loretta. I've enjoyed having you here. Thanks for listening to my ramblings. I hope you have a great day. Stamp happy. Be a blessing. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.